Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge and experience and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a successful entrepreneur with a deep understanding of AI, batteries and EVs from Ahmedabad, India, Mr. Shubham Mishra. Shubham, welcome to the show.
Hello, sir. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Shubham is the founder and chief executive officer of Energy AI Labs. So, Shubham, before we start talking about Energy AI Labs, which is going to be the focus of our conversation, a few questions for you. You began with a simple problem, battery diagnostics. What was the moment of frustration or insight that made you say, this must be solved differently?
Okay. So we started off with e-bikes actually. So right after my job at Gensol, okay, I was part of the design engineering team there. I left it within 1 year and started this venture, named the company Eureka Mobility Labs. Veg is the Sanskrit word for velocity. So that was the initial inception part. We built e-bikes and we were constantly building them for various purposes. We were clueless how to sell them, although we were making them. So in 2020, we saw one opportunity that why don't we keep visiting EV conferences, events, and exhibitions, and we will talk about what we have built. If there are any prospects, they will be getting converted, and we will get some sales out of it.
Mhm.
But COVID hit. Okay. And we were clueless again. Now, what to do? Now, no events or exhibitions will happen. So, we
Mhm.
directly reached out to Nobel laureates across the world, okay, related to lithium batteries. And one of them replied, suggesting some resources, some research papers, and conference papers to read about.
Mhm.
So in that journey, only we met one guy from Gandhinagar, that is the capital of Gujarat. We met one guy, he was EV mechanic. Uh, he had one technician who was putting his bare hands on battery pack surface. Okay, so when the battery got hot, he directly inferred that this battery is bad.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was the moment of frustration, or you can say a eureka moment in hindsight for us, where we have seen that putting bare hands on battery pack surface is the norm for getting the battery test done. Okay,
Mhm.
so just like humans check fever, they were checking EV batteries.
Yeah, amazing. And how did working with Ajay Vashisht with a defense R&D background shape your technical philosophy and execution discipline?
Yeah, so I'm quite a chaotic guy. So initially, I didn't know about the systems and processes,
Hmm.
how structure will help. So he brought the structure because he has worked in the systems part. He has worked as a part of deep R&D based, hardware based systems. So he corrected the path on various fronts, right from the hardware TRL levels to how to shape the customer journey. In parallel with that, I was making sure that we are not like too much structured during that process, because at times overstructuring directly constrains the chaotic part, and it limits us from thinking outside the box. Right.
Hmm.
So he brought the structure. I was part of the customer understanding and empathy field,
Hmm.
and together we have made sure that the rational and irrational uh, they perform better in an amalgamated way.
Hmm. Very interesting. And one more question before we come to Energy AI Labs. Deep tech entrepreneurship in India is not easy. What
Correct.
were some of the hardest non-technical challenges, such as funding, talent, credibility, that nearly derailed you?
Yeah. So funding, yeah, it was a problem, but later on we found that for our product, it is different for different products.
Yeah.
But for our product, no, like millions of funds were not required.
Hmm.
We have to make sure that the algorithms are right, the testing accuracy is right. A lot of times, a lot of money is wasted just for getting that accuracy right, and that was not favoring our mindset. Talent, yes. Being from Ahmedabad, we were not able to get top AI ML engineers who have worked on product, who have worked on deep tech. So that was one part of it. And last one is the credibility part, that was the biggest one.
Hmm.
Indian people trust imported products more than Indian products itself. So that was the biggest low ball, you can say, where we have to keep uh, working on the learning curve. Okay, we
Hmm.
have to constantly prove our credibility, trust, and the merit that we have built through this product. So that was the highest, like largest part. But on the opposite side of it, when the trust is built, it has a flywheeling effect, and it directly got us a lot of success and credibility.
Hmm. Amazing. Shubham, let's now talk about Energy AI Labs. You were just telling me a few minutes back about how someone would touch a battery to determine the health of the battery. Uh, Before EV Doctor, it was largely guesswork. But tell
Yeah.
me, why did the ecosystem tolerate such low scientific rigor for so long?
Yeah, so this is very interesting question, and even we got the answer after working on it,
Hmm.
after serving it to like a lot of people. So in India, diagnostics is only happening when something is wrong. Okay, people hate diagnostics.
Yeah.
Any type of diagnostics, when some issue is there, even with our own health, if there is an issue, then we will realize the importance of yearly checkups and everything, right? So this was going on. Bulky machines were imported. They felt like you have a machine,
Hmm.
and they were complex. So they were creating a lot of FOMO also. That this is the machine that checks the EV battery, and you have to sit there for 8 to 10 hours. You have to get
Hmm.
the test done. Once the test is done, you will get the report. And sometimes, if you miss any readings, you will be directly having non-reliable report. Then you have to check it again another 7 to 8 hours. So
Hmm.
diagnostics not being the primary concern was the reason. Eventually, what we have found that if it is convenient enough,
Hmm.
then people will check it easily. So just like thermometers. Okay, so if they are convenient and accessible, then whenever somebody is feeling feverish, they can directly use thermometer.
Hmm. Very interesting. And yet, the 8 to 9 hours that you were speaking out, you introduced the 15-minute diagnostic,
Correct.
which is very compelling. What were some of the hardest engineering constraints to compress testing into the time frame without losing accuracy?
Yeah. So biggest problem was the availability of data sets.
Right.
There were no public data sets of real-time battery issues. Okay. So first one is the objective part, and second one is the subjective part. So objective part will cover the data sets, real rational data sets in the structured form, and the subjective part is real insights that we get about the batteries, how they perform, how different type of batteries perform in different ambient conditions and all. So we were not having idea of both of them. So we built our own data sets initially. We
Hmm.
conducted thermal runaway experiments along with IIT Gandhinagar. 60, 70 batteries we have put on fire. And at the same time, we were getting the electrical equivalent readings so that we can make sure that the accuracy is right when the extremes are there. Okay. So
Very
the
interesting.
biggest problem was fire. So we started with fire, and eventually we reached out to the point where we are providing 15 minutes test reports about battery performance, safety, faults, and whatever goes inside the battery handling and maintenance.
Amazing. From your over 50 lakh plus tests, what is one counterintuitive insight about battery behavior that most people get wrong?
So most people get wrong is that batteries will last only lithium batteries, EV battery packs will last only for 3 to 5 years. That is the most counterintuitive thing, because many brands have positioned it in such way because they don't use branded cells, or they don't use right topology or architecture. They can easily last till 8 to 10 years if
Hmm.
maintained well, if there are no partial charging behavior, if the components are right.
Hmm. Shubham, calibration is critical in diagnostics. What are the core principles you follow to ensure accuracy and when it comes to very, very large numbers?
Yeah, so initially we started with benchmarking. Okay, so we took the best of the best tools which were available right from Japan to USA to Europe in China. And right now we are supplying to all four countries. Okay, so that path from benchmarking to being a competitor to them was like a roller coaster journey. What we have made sure is we constantly tested real time batteries. That is the best form of intelligence that we can say.
Hmm.
Okay, the intelligence which can act, which can empower decisions, right? So we are making sure that whenever any test happens with the EV doctor through any of our clientele, it is accurate enough. So
Mhm.
right now it is constantly getting trained on real time data,
Hmm.
and that's where the real calibration happens.
Okay. And can EV doctor eventually move from diagnostics to predictive failure in to prevent problems in real time?
Yeah, so right now it has the intelligence for that, but we don't have the control for that. Okay, so we don't have any proper tools or SOPs that we can integrate with our intelligence so that they can directly follow it as part of the system.
Hmm. And for fleet operators, how does accurate battery uh, translate into direct financial impact? Give
So
me an example also if you can.
yeah, so uptime is the answer. So if there are 100 EVs within your fleet and 20 are dead because of some issues, and if you are checking them and you have found that all the issues were not big enough, only four or five had big issues,
Hmm.
14, 15 of them were good, then you can make them alive. They'll be directly generating revenue for you. Instead
Hmm.
of being a dead stock, they'll be an asset.
Hmm.
This is the simple explanation of.
Hmm. And when you talk of batteries for fleet operators, is it a very significant chunk of their entire the maintenance revenue or maintenance costs?
Uh, yeah, Initially, no, but eventually, when the fleet explodes, they go from city to city, then it becomes a major concern.
Hmm. My next question, Shubham, is that insurers and financiers rely heavily on risk models.
Correct.
How is your data reshaping risk pricing for EVs?
Yeah, so we have already partnered with some big insurance players. They have got EV doctor devices at their touch points. Although it is not commercialized at scale, we are like in the nascent stage for that. But
Hmm.
how this helps them is to underwrite the batteries in an independent manner.
Hmm.
Okay, so till date they have been dependent on the OEM's data only.
Hmm.
Okay, and at times it was biased, at times it was not correct because of the wear and tear losses, the abusive handling, or some maintenance or repair issue. Through our device, they are sure that a third party tool is there for getting the battery diagnostics done. You will get the report. And as per that, you can do the premium correction, you can do the claim optimization, you can make sure that the battery needs to be replaced or repaired. So, all these decisions can be made through this device.
Hmm. Your system blends hardware, AI, and field data. Where does your real competitive advantage lie?
Right now, it is with the field data because hardware, obviously, anybody can reverse engineer. We don't have a monopoly on that, and we don't want to have. The main thing is intelligence, where we have the field data and we are constantly training our algorithms to become best, to become accurate.
Hmm.
Along with that, we are partnering with some key OEMs, insurance players, and finance players, where we get a lot of access to their data where we can perform our intelligence too.
Hmm.
So our intelligence, like which is powering EV Doctor, is called Battery OS.
Mhm.
That is uh, part of Energy AI Labs. It's battery operating system. So till date, there is no unified software for batteries. Our phone is having different, our laptop is having different, our trimmer is having different. So every battery is having their own software layer.
Hmm.
If we
Hmm.
can have one, then they can coordinate with each other. They can make sure that you live a comfortable life while not worrying about the batteries.
Hmm. You just were speaking about the battery OS. How close are we to building an energy OS? What does this look like in practical terms over the next few years?
Yeah. So everything, every big intelligence thing or platform,
Hmm.
they have their own operating system as of now.
Hmm.
So right from the Android to sound to display, everything has a benchmark or a
Yeah.
signature, you can say, right? Powered by Harman, powered by Intel, whatever is there.
Yeah.
So we have found that batteries don't have such operating system. Okay, so we are already building one, and diagnostics is just small part of it. Monitoring, alerts, maintenance, scheduling, charging patterns, all these things, they are part of battery OS, and we are constantly building them. We have built
Hmm.
APIs for most of them. We are currently working with some OEMs also on pilot levels, where we are making sure that battery OS becomes the norm.
Hmm.
Now coming to the energy OS part. So we have seen Jarvis in Iron Man. We have seen a lot of home automation projects. We have seen a lot of smart meters and smart plugs. Okay, but most of them have never made it so successful that they become part of the default option. Okay,
Hmm.
they are not as default as switches. Okay, so with energy OS, what we are making sure is to become an obvious option
Hmm.
for energy software where efficiency is not just a primary goal. Okay, the primary goal is intelligence, where devices can talk to each other, devices can coordinate in such a way that your bills are minimized and your comfort is maximized.
Hmm.
They should not hamper your overall experience. And for enterprises and utilities and industries, it means a lot of ESG compliance norms as well.
Hmm.
Okay, so following ESG compliance norms and directly generating credits while saving electricity in a comfortable way is the way to go. So that's why
Very
we are
interesting.
building Energy OS.
Very, very interesting. How close are we to a world where battery safety is continuously monitored rather than periodically checked?
Yeah, so we should be close, but cost is the concern because constantly getting the battery safety on your display or on
Hmm.
your dashboard
Hmm.
is a costly affair as of now. As we democratize this battery OS, it will be part of the normal thing and it will not cost more. Right now, through periodic testing, we are getting a lot of data that will directly lead to APIs. And once these APIs become default for any BMS, then battery safety can be accessed just like
Hmm.
SOC percentage that we see.
Hmm. Amazing. Shubham, I have time for two more questions for you. How will energy AI labs move beyond EVs into homes, buildings, and decentralized energy systems?
Yeah, so the inflection point will be inverter systems because that's where the homes and batteries they both coincide, and we are already working on it. Once we have solved some real time issues with the inverters, we have the plan to build one central democratized operating system where
Hmm.
we will be starting from homes, not from India, from the Western world, because their smart meter data is directly available.
Hmm.
Uh, Whereas in India, it is difficult to get the access of it because in India, still the data is fetched from the smart meter just for the bill calculation
Hmm.
and some usage data, right,
Hmm.
which they show on the dashboard or on the bills. But
Hmm.
more intelligence, if it is there, then we can do the demand response scheduling. We can make sure that the time of usage is right. We can make sure the appliance health is good. We can also suggest them best appliances for their usage
Hmm.
instead of them directly random guessing it or purchasing it based on the offers they get online or offline.
Hmm. Amazing. And my last question for you, when I was reading about you and preparing, I have read this phrase energy superintelligence. What is energy superintelligence? And if you succeed in building it, what fundamental shift will the world experience in how energy is produced, consumed, and valued?
Yeah. So uh, globally, $3 to $4 trillion are lost every year just from the electricity power loss. Okay, right from the transmission to distribution to generation. So all these, and in India, it is beyond 15% as of now. although
Okay.
it is reducing year over year, but it is still a lot.
Mm.
So what we are making sure is starting from homes to utilities, to industries, to enterprises, if they can coordinate with each other, and if we have made sure that Energy OS or any platform which is supported by Energy OS intelligence, then we can build a Palantir for energy where systems can talk to each other so that the grid is not overloaded, so
Mm.
that the energy bills are in control, so that people can leave their energy related decisions through this intelligence platform.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the major vision behind it. uh, in the most layman term, it is like Jarvis on steroids,
Mm-hmm.
and in the most layman terms for a consumer, it will
Mm.
be like a universal basic thing for energy.
Mm. Fascinating. And on that note, Shubham, I just want to say what an amazing conversation this has been. I mean, I didn't understand too much about batteries and intelligence needed to be able to understand our own power consumption. But clearly, you're doing an incredible job and not just supporting automobiles on how to manage their batteries, but your vision is absolutely fascinating on how you think homes, offices, buildings can really manage their energy better. Thank you for speaking to me, and all the very best to you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for the invitation, and it was pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.